Welcome, fellow last placers, to another episode of LPF Debrief, where we talk about comic books, TV shows, and movies. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. Is it holiday special or Christmas special? I'm pretty sure it's holiday special,
Holiday special, yeah.
even though the episode was 100% about Christmas,
Christmas.
right? I just wanted to make sure because I wasn't, it does say holiday, but yes. So yeah, that's what we are going to be talking about. And joining me, as you guys can see, we've got Chris. Everyone give Chris a round of applause for being back on Debrief. Clap, 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 clap. Even though we both have soundboards and are not playing an applaud
I
thing,
don't think mine's
it's
queued
okay.
up. Yeah.
Mine's not queued up either.
Mhm.
I'll put it in
Oh
in
wait, there we
post,
go.
maybe. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. So we're gonna talk about just like we always do around here. Spoilers are ahead, guys. If you don't want to listen to any of this before watching it, please hit pause, go watch it, come on back so you guys can hear what we thought about the episode or the special because it's just one episode, which was 43 minutes or 45 minutes.
About
It was
45.
a good, yeah, it was a good amount of time. But and yeah, as always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff for us. Really helps up the channel. And yeah, let's get right into it. So this is the second Marvel special, Werewolf by Night, which if you guys have not watched, please watch it because it is so good.
I need to
But
actually. I didn't watch that one.
it's so good, so good, so good. I did a review on that one too, and it was like one of my favorite things that Marvel did this year. It's definitely worth checking out. I wanted more after it, but this is the second one of these specials. And before we get like into our thoughts about it and stuff, I just think it's kind of cool that Marvel has gotten to a point where we can have just these specials, even with like the whole cast of like these big time movies, right? Because
Yeah.
Guardians and obviously Infinity War and things like that, like these are big, big characters, and it just shows that how much fun they're having with James Gunn and like James Gunn just being the person like, oh, I can bring everyone pretty much back to do this and like to have the whole Guardians cast itself, like no one being replaced, like is awesome, or like someone being like off world or anything like that was really cool to me that they all came back and did it. But he also said that he did this during the filming of Guardians 3. So that makes perfect sense on why he was able to have everyone. So and he talked about, there was an article, I forgot who wrote it, but article about how much he enjoyed being able to have both. So that's really fun, and I don't know if this might pretty much be James Gunn last like Marvel stint, this and then Guardians 3, because he has taken over the role of, pretty much he's the Kevin Feige now of DC, which is really exciting news
Yeah.
for him and for DC, because and he's already been tweeting out hints and stuff like that. He already, last tweet he did was like Mr. Terrific, so like please James Gunn, just please just, we'll talk about that in like another time. But yeah, so it's really cool that he was able to do this and then kind of, add to his elements. But what were your thoughts on the special itself, Chris?
The special itself was it's actually the first like Christmas thing I've watched this year. So it already put me in a good spirit. I thought, it's that classic Christmas fashion where it's like it's funny, it's cheesy at the same time. But it was a fun adventure. The opening was I got a little confused
Me
because
too.
yeah, the
The
opening was
animation.
yeah,
Yeah.
the animation. As soon as the animation came up, I was like, I'm not
Yeah.
watching 45 minutes of this.
Yeah.
Like I love you guys, but there's no way I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So I actually paused it and went back and I was like, what is going on here? And then I gave it a
Yeah.
few more minutes, and then as soon as it goes back to real life, I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. Um, Overall, like I said, it was a very heartwarming thing. I'm glad that they added Yondu into it at a certain point, and you got to see the lighter side instead of him being a jerk all the time. And
Yeah.
before Yondu, was gone, uh, everybody thought he was rough. You know what I mean? And he really loved um,
Peter.
Quinn, yeah, Peter, and you really see it in the story at the end there. That last like 2 minutes was like,
Yeah.
okay, this wraps it up very nicely. and this is very sweet. It shows how Star Lord gets his blasters, and also shows where Yondu got his little toy that was sitting on the front of the ship, and I thought that was a really cool callback. And the fact that they roped it into Christmas uh, was pretty good. Um, Very surprised that I don't know. I actually I shouldn't be surprised. Kevin Bacon
Yeah,
being in
like
it, like I thought it was gonna be a joke of like Kevin Bacon, like something small,
yeah.
but he's in majority of it. Like
I
he's
mean, he's like the main focus of the thing.
yeah.
Like he's like legit the main reason. Like he's actually in it more than Star Lord is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so
So that's why I was like, that's why I was shocked. And I really enjoyed, I love, musical openings. I like that Christmas musical
that song
opening
was
of
so good. The song was so good.
and what they're like, oh, basically they wrote a song about Christmas from a game of telephone. That's how I pictured
Yeah.
it. Was like explain Christmas to me in a game of telephone, and then we're gonna write this song from the last person that tells us that. And that was what's so funny when they set it up. They're like, yeah, we got the meaning from this person. They got it from this person. They got it from this person. They got it from this person. They gave it to me, and we have this song. So
I just love that the song, while they're playing the song, it's literally like Peter's just like, wait a second, you guys like just picked these up?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
'cause,
you guys just got
like,
these instruments.
like, cause they're like legit, like in a full song, like it seems like they've been rehearsing forever. Like he's got like lyrics for this whole like thing. And yeah, like you said, it's more like a game of telephone of, hey, I heard about this, like this was cool, and like this things were happening. And the song starts off great, right? Like it's just like, yeah, that's pretty much Christmas, and then it just takes a turn where you're like, wait, what? This is like what happened here? But yeah, I did love that though.
And then also at the end with Kevin Bacon singing also with that
Yeah.
band was really good. But overall, like I said, very hard. Like it put a smile on my face. It's a very fun special that they did there, and I'm glad that they're doing these Christmas specials and stuff like that because I know the joke about um, the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh
Uh,
well, that's not a joke.
well,
Okay,
you know
the
what I
joke
mean.
was it being made.
Yeah.
You know,
But the
but
fact
now
that
it's
these
just
things,
fun.
yeah, now that these things are coming out, I kind of hope we see more of them.
Yeah, it's I think we will see more of them, especially because I mean this was a good one, right? This I think I felt like the cast, obviously the group of people were the perfect thing because you know it's not something you would expect from this crowd, even though it makes the perfect sense, right? Like because obviously Peter will have some kind of influence on them. I thought it was interesting how we got like I loved that James Gunn threw in some things here that are, you know, actually part of the story that are going to be kind of important, just like as for like for certain references and things like that. Like the fact that the Guardians now own Nowhere, like it kind of, I love that they made it kind of nonchalant, so it's not like, oh, you needed to know this big thing, but we're giving you story bits of basically connecting what happened between two and what may happen, you know, what you guys are going to look for in three. So I do like that we're getting these kind of bridges just to fix it up, and it actually saves time for the movie to actually focus more on the movie than trying to answer questions on like, oh, like when did they get this new, because these are questions that you know some people may ask, but like, oh, when did they get this new this place to stay, like no, when did Nowhere become their base and stuff like that. So now that we have a place knowing that Nowhere is now their new like basically like grounds of operation, I thought that was really cool. I also thought it was cool that they mentioned the collector being alive during Infinity War, and not getting like, you know, getting what's the word for it?
Involved?
Bop. No, like bopped. What, not bopped. What's the word? What, blooped.
Oh, blipped,
The
blipped.
blipped. There we go. I was
Bop,
like,
boo,
what did
boo,
they
bop,
call
boo,
it?
boo,
Bop.
bop. Nah,
I
man,
knew
you're
it
thinking
started
of
with the
bee boop.
B. I knew it started with the B. So yeah, it was nice to like hear things like that, and just you know obviously Mantis and Drax's relationship, just you know hilarious because they're just polar opposites that are just funny with each other. And um just hearing them kind of like you know give us different rundowns of what's going on in the whole
Yeah,
Guardians
also we don't
universe.
have to
Like,
have a weird moment too with Mantis being his sister is
yeah,
like we don't have to have that weird moment in the third movie where it's like we didn't need this moment here. So
yeah.
they kind of got it in there. Um
Well, it's good because again, like I said, they can now focus more on
exactly.
story-driven things.
Yep.
Also like not having Gamora in it. kind of makes you go, well, obviously he's going to still be sad because he doesn't have Gamora.
Yeah.
And obviously, them, it also, like I said, shows what they think about Peter, like, and how much of a family he's made them become. Because, like, for her to do all of the things that she did, and even being like direct family now to her, like, even before then, she was willing to do it. And then she felt like the obligation because he's made a home for them. Like, a bunch of these, um, you know, people who you wouldn't expect to be together are now together because of Peter. And they show that appreciation for him. I liked that they showed Cosmo and made her pretty much comic book, like pretty much the way she is in the comics, being able like to have telekinesis, but still having dog features, like wanting treats and stuff like that. But hearing the thoughts of a dog, because that's something we kind of do in our head anyway. Like just hearing thinking what is our dog thinking, or like what is this dog thinking. So it's
Yeah.
really cool to have that moment, especially with Rocket, just kind of being like, hey, like, okay, what's the point of using telekinesis if you can't focus and stuff like that? And she's just like, what do you like? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying my best here. Now let me get one of them treats. Like, you know, and I feel like our like dogs do that. You know what I mean? What do you want me to do? I'm trying. Okay. I just want a treat. But then also seeing Groot grown up and like more of like a
He's like
young adult.
boxy. Yeah, like
Yeah. He's like a young adult at this
yeah.
point. What in Guardians 2 he was teen, right? Which
Was it
no, no,
Guardians
no,
2 or
no.
was that
Infinity War.
yeah, he's like a
Infinity
teen.
War.
He's a
He's
teen.
teen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a teenager now. He's kind of like in this, young adult age. So I think that's cool, but it also means some significant time has passed by. So I'm curious to see when they're going to start Guardians 3, or what is the time frame for Guardians 3. So that should be very uh interesting just to see where we are once we get there, because Guardians 3 is like at least 2 years away, if I'm not mistaken, because next year is, what do we have next year? Ant-Man is, I
Ant-Man.
think the Marvels are also next year. So I think Guardians is the following year, 2025. Just, having things like that to kind of bridge this, I think it's dope. I think they might do another one, just like it might not be a Christmas one or something else, because Kevin Bacon kind of was like, I'll be back at Easter. So I thought that would be funny, like, if they maybe did an Easter special. But yeah,
So real quick, sorry to interrupt. It says May 5th, 2023.
I don't, is it? Maybe it is that close. I mean, it would make sense if it was. I just remembered it getting delayed, but I know they did that whole big shift. But it would make sense for it to come out the following year, and then I mean to drop this closer, like close to it, just so that you could have, people can have that bridge also. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's May 2023, because I know it's 3 movies next year. So, and I think it's that.
We only get 3 movies
Um,
next year?
I think so, because I know for
Yep,
sure
in theaters
Ant-Man.
February. Yeah, Ant-Man. It goes
Hmm.
Ant-Man, Secret Invasion,
Well,
Guardians 3,
yeah,
The
Secret Invasion
Marvels.
got turned into a movie.
Okay. The Marvels
No,
and
no, no. Secret Invasion's a TV show.
it is? Oh,
That's
okay.
not what
So
got. Yeah,
okay, so they're putting in
yeah,
so this list is from um is the movies. So or the
yeah,
movies and shows. So
yeah.
Ant-Man and Wasp, Secret
Hmm.
Invasion show,
Hmm.
Guardians 3 movie,
There you go.
The Marvels, is that going to be a movie?
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
movie. Yes.
It says Disney Plus series in this one.
No, no.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's supposed to be a
And
movie
then
unless they
Echo, another Disney
brought
Plus
it back.
series.
Yeah,
Ironheart
that's a
to be
TV show too.
announced. Armor Wars to be okay. So these are all to
Armor
be
Wars
announced.
has been moved to a movie.
Okay.
That was a TV show that's now going to be a movie.
All right.
So yeah, so I think I it would make sense if this does come out in May. Just because again, you want to release this pretty close to when you expect the movie to come out, and it's a good time. People are going to have Disney Plus. They're probably going to be getting new TVs, things like that, and want to see some stuff. So it was really cool to see them go to Earth, and their whole thing be like, we're going to get Kevin Bacon because because obviously there's still the I guess the, I don't even want to say language barrier. It's more of a like cultural barrier, because they're aliens, and he's a human, and them telling these stories about Kevin Bacon, not knowing that he's an actor at the time, until they find out on the ship, which was hilarious,
Yeah,
where he's
quick
just like,
question on that too. Is was that a shot? Because this was filmed way before this, I'm pretty sure. But I felt like I mean it was just perfect timing, I'm guessing. But like the whole Tarantino thing, him coming out saying that the Marvel superhero, they're like not actors or
yeah,
whatever.
well, I mean, it probably for, but but he's not the first one, so
Okay, all
like
right,
it wouldn't be surprised. Like it's just relevant, but he's not the first one because
okay.
Martin Scorsese did the same thing. The dude from Dune said the same thing. Just like it's been one of the things that really gets me upset about these famous directors who I love. Like I mean, because their work is amazing. I mean, James Cameron also same thing, but they feel this need to downplay the Marvel universe anytime they have a movie coming out, and it just feels very like it's very what's like it just feels very small because like you're bigger than that, you know what I mean?
I
And
know, man. It's just you
to
should be happy that these like
but
I
the
don't
thing
know.
is, like, if you feel that way, like, my thing is, if I was a director, right, and I just think for them to come out and just be like, "Oh, well, everything," well, then these are the things that are being sold, right? But they're not just there is context and there is depth to a lot of these movies, right? Like, it's not just, are all of them great? No. But like that's not the point, right? You can't say this is a form of cinema there is no my cinema is what actually is like movies, like what I mean. It's like, what are you talking about? Like they're making a movie, and if you enjoy it, watch it. If you don't watch it. You don't have to hate on it because you don't enjoy it or you don't deem it as
Or just the genre in
cinema.
general. There's people that have genres. There's people that don't
Or
like this kind of genre, and then there's people that like, comedies, dramas, all that stuff. They have that. So
yeah,
it's kind of
or
weird.
if you're so good and you think you're that good, make one. Let me see you make
That's
one.
what I was about to say too.
Like,
Yeah,
what
if
I
I was
mean,
a
make
director, I'd be like,
make
oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, make one and then show us that you're not, you know what I mean? Because for the what I forget the guy whose name is from Dune, but for you to say something about like the medium, like, and did a story based off of a book, it's kind of weird to me. Like, when people say like do stuff like that, because like what you're creating isn't original either. If that's the line you're going through, you know what I mean? Or like, you're basically plotting what they're doing too. Like if you don't consider comic books an art, or that's on you. Like you know what I mean? Because there's plenty of people that like read The Watchmen as like literature art.
Hmm.
Like you know what I mean? Like it's taught in English schools. Like for like it's literally taught in English classes. Like people watch like reading The Watchmen because of the way it's written. So I don't like how these big directors come out and start saying things like that because it just feels like you're bigger than that, like, and you don't need to bash on something that people are enjoying. Because you know what? At the end of the day, the cinema that you love and all the things that you're talking about, like, oh, guess what? Those movies are not the movies people are going to watch. No matter how much we love them, like, your movies are mostly in the majority, like, as far as being big box office, like, you know what I mean? Or even saving, or the reason, like, movie theaters would be gone right now if it wasn't for Marvel movies. Like, or superhero movies. And like that's like the realest, like I don't care what anyone says, but even like, you know what I mean? And it's just like if you're gonna and think about your peers who you're talking about, like the directors who take their time to do things like this, and are you're bashing on them because you've like, you know what I mean, because of the genre they're doing. So you're gonna tell me Christopher Nolan's not a movie maker because he made Dark Knight? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, I hate when they do that. It's really
Just
annoying. And
salty.
it's like I said, there's like 5 or 6 directors like who've done it. James Cameron has done it. Meanwhile, he's got, you know, that he's got a whole series of movies that, you know what I mean, like are probably gonna, be even on more of a hype because of that. And let's be honest, Avatar 1 wasn't that great. So, like,
Yeah, I am very upset with myself because it comes up on Facebook memories
yeah,
of me saying like, "This is the best movie I've ever seen." Oh my god! Oh
yeah,
my! And then I watched it
yeah.
the other day and I was like,
No, it
"Yikes!"
looks great, but again, the story, there's no depth to that story. There's a lot of things, but this is not what we're here
Yeah,
for. Sorry
yeah,
about that rant.
yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to see all the references that they also threw into there. Just like Drax referencing Batman. I'm not sorry, I mean Kevin Bacon referencing Batman, like you know what I
Crazy,
mean?
crazy
Yeah.
too. I was like, "Oh wait."
It's not the first either.
No,
It's
it's
not the
not. No,
first. Yeah,
no.
because in Internals they
Yeah.
did it too when he with the Superman reference, which is good. Like, why not? You know what I mean? And I know Marvel is in a very comfortable spot to where they don't have to feel like they're in this whole rivalry. But again, like these are iconic characters. Like people need to know who like people know who Batman and Superman are. Like, the whole, can't, feel can't feel like you can say like these other mediums in movies. It just seems weird to me.
I
Like, you know what I
personally
mean?
think it
Like,
would be cool to have that if it would be cool that in the Marvel universe that people that are reading comics are reading DC comics like they're a fan of that. And then people in
yeah,
DC are reading Marvel because it's like they don't exist in each other's world, but they have the book and are like, "Oh, I'm a
yeah.
fan of this guy." Like, yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
They should do that. And I mean, we might see some more of that stuff with the relationship now,
Yeah,
being that Feige and James Gunn are, I would consider they're going to be pretty close because of that. And I obviously Kevin Feige is really excited for him too, because at the end of the day, like comic book readers and fans and stuff like that, at least the ones that I know, like, yes, you can have your preferences and stuff like that. But like I love DC comics. Like, you know what I mean? I love DC. I love Marvel like equally. I love indie stuff too. Like I just love reading good stories. If it's a good story, it's a good story. I don't, I used to be one of those who hated Green Lantern, right? Like I couldn't stand Green Lantern. Then I read some really good Green Lantern stories and I was like, "Oh, this is one of my favorite characters," because like it does depend on who's writing it and things like that. So, you know, I think the whole I would like to see that. And I mean, hey, James Gunn is here. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we did get our comic book with Justice League and Avengers. So, you know, if we can get a movie, that would literally break everything.
I don't
You
think
know
we
what
need
I
a
mean?
movie. I think we could get a
Listen, I'm
special,
just
but
saying,
I don't
a
know.
movie would you can't. There's no way you're. They're not. You're. There's no way.
You could do all
Because first of
that in a
you, there's
special.
no way. There's no way. The money, the funding, you would have to get too many big actors. No way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they wouldn't do it for cheaper just because of the thought behind it, but there's no way. Um, yeah, so things like that. I just think it's would be cool if they took the chance to do it. So,
Yeah.
but now we have that communication between them. It might be something we see a little bit more. I did love that we had like Transformers that were in there. We had GoBots in there. We had like a bunch of the Hollywood cosplayers, which was hilarious too. Like
Oh
them
yeah, you're right.
thinking
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
like
And then
you know what I
making
mean?
money. Like she's flashing the
Yeah,
money. I was like, what are you doing?
yeah, exactly. Like they're making money off of it. They le- uh just a reference when she's like, let's take a picture of the God of War. Like just fun stuff like that, because you could take that anyway, right? Like you
Yeah.
could take that as God of War versus Ares, who is a comic book character, or he does look like Kratos. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and what a perfect time, right? Because the movie, I
Yeah,
mean, the
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 game.
game just came out.
Yeah, yeah.
So like stuff like that was really cool, and it was really aware of what it wanted to be. And I thought for me that was a lot of fun in this. Kevin Bacon calling Rocket a talking raccoon and him being pissed off again
I'll kill you.
about yeah,
Jumps
he's
out.
like just him being mad about it again. Like I said, just little nuggets like that. We see uh Kraglin have the Yondu thing on his head, but he doesn't know how to control the whistle, like the control the needle yet. The whole reference between him saving the galaxy with a bunch of callbacks. Rocket getting Bucky's arm as a present from Nebula, and let me tell you, Nebula was my favorite part. She was only in for about maybe 10 minutes, but
Bro,
not even.
that dance, I was
Yo,
cringing really hard. It made me
listen,
feel
she
uncomfortable.
for like
Uncomfortable.
the
I was
eight
like,
minutes
ugh.
the 8 minutes that she was on was perfect. Like when she pulls out the gun on Kevin Bacon, like it comes off from off screen, and then you already know it's her. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just know it's her, and then just the way that she reacts to things, oh, it's so great. And I love Karen Gillan. I did take a picture with her in MegaCon, I think like 3 years ago. Good times. So yeah, overall, and like you said, when you talked about the origins of the of the gun,
Yeah.
and just the way uh when Mantis, finally speaks to Peter and kind of says, "Oh, Kraglin doesn't know the rest of that story," and like you said, where Yondu kind of feels bad because he did because he loves Peter, right? And we know that from Guardians too. Just like he did look at him as a son, right? And just when he does the realizes like, oh, I hurt him, he kind of gets him gets him the present. He opens up the present and sees that it's the little thing, and then he gets him the present of the guns. And then they're kind of having like they go into light speed, and then they're just having a good time and cracking jokes. So it was really heartwarming, especially for Star Lord's character to be in that situation where people really do care for him, and did all of this just to give him a replication of what Christmas would be like, you know what I mean? And then him saying that sweet line to Mantis, just saying like, oh, having a sister is probably like the best Christmas gift, like, present that you could ask for. And it was really sweet and heartwarming and cute. And, you know, even throughout all of that, having like a ton of fun, where Drax is flipping police cars and Mantis is doing some crazy running, like bro, like all of it was just really cool. So
Also,
I'm
Drax, I wanted to address Drax struggling to say that he loves Peter.
yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
see it, and she's like,
yeah.
do you love Peter and want to say and help and save Christmas, or do you want the tiny
What the
man?" And
little
you see him, and he's like, "I want to say it, but
yeah,
the tiny
the
man."
tiny man, like, and it's just like a little elf, like what I mean, like what are you doing? You know what I mean? So it's they just had it had the great Guardians humor that we expect from James Gunn. And like I said, it did a really good job at not showing too much that will make you confused when the movie comes out, but enough to be like, oh, this is a good. I can see why they have Nowhere now. I can see where all these characters were or what they were doing in between this time. And it makes gives you a little bit more of a nugget if you check them out. And again, I love the Kevin Bacon references like for Footloose and stuff like that. So
Which
overall,
I totally thought we were gonna hear that, and they were gonna break out into
yeah,
dance or something. I kind of had a
yeah,
feeling that was
you
gonna
kind of
happen,
expected
and
it,
they
but
kept it away, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm fine with that.
yeah. So overall, like I said, enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. Just fun little watch to do right before, like you said, to get you kind of in the holiday spirit. So, and it was nice, like I said, with the way that it ended. And then we got the post credit scene where they're decorating Groot as a Christmas tree, which is kind of funny. But
And then they
overall,
said they needed another special. They have
yeah,
to make another one. They're like, that means we gotta make.
exactly.
And I was like, oh,
So who knows? Who knows? And
yeah.
hopefully they can get James Gunn. I just hope that even though James Gunn is going to go to DC and do the Kevin Feige stuff, I hope that if he's not too busy or gets that itch to want to direct something like one of these specials or like write for it or something like that, that he'll still be able to have that relationship because it does seem like it because of he was able to go do Peacemaker and Suicide Squad
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and he was still able to do these. So it just seems like he wants to be like doing stuff like this. So I hope it's not one of those things where it's just like, oh, you
You're
work for
locked in.
DC
Yeah, you
now,
have to
like
stay
what I
there.
mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that ends up hurting us for if we're not able to get people who can do both. So
Yeah.
yeah. But what was your favorite part before we wrap this up?
Favorite part of the special is that opening, man. That opening song is just too
Yeah.
good.
It's a
It's just
bop.
too
It's a bop. I
good.
want to find the name of the song so I can download it and just have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
and that band that they had on there, it's
it's
just
so good.
it's a class, like how they sang it too, and the backup
Yeah.
singers and everything was just a classic. Like, oh man, this takes me back. This is
Yeah,
nice.
it's just so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. And James Gunn is notorious for having really good music in his thing because if obviously Peacemaker probably has one of the best, what I mean, entrance like intro musics because like no one skips it, right? Like you
Hmm.
always watch the routine. So he loves having like music inside of his shows, obviously with Guardians being so musically heavy also. He's just really good at I get like picking music, and that's a really nice thing to have because you remember it, right? Like
Hmm.
I mean, you remember those songs and those songs are memorable. I mean, you even had what you call it in your wedding. So like from
Oh,
Guardians
yeah,
1.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
like, what I mean? It does make you like it is memorable music. So I think it's really cool that he has that ear for it to see, oh, this is really going to work with this scene. So or this, or this movie. So that's the thing. For me, like I said, Nebula was my favorite. Just even though it was 7 minutes of what it was, just when she was on the screen, it was the funny, like the loudest that I laughed. I was just like, she's hilarious. Everything she does is just funny because she's trying to be so serious, and like, but she's also like starting to open up that little, like, is it's like you said, kind of, where Drax is like, he's gonna stay this like person who's always angry, where Nebula's like, I'm angry, but like I don't want to be angry. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
this
Like
is
I
my
still, but this is
this
my
is who I am.
personality because
Yeah.
this is how I was programmed. So it's a really fun, counter, like fun balance
Yeah.
between the two. So, but yeah, overall, I absolutely enjoyed it. I hope they continue to do more of these specials, because for me, they're 2 out of 2 with the Werewolf by Night we had for Halloween pretty much, and now we have this. It's really nice that they're kind of doing, we got 2 for the, pretty popular, special, like holidays and stuff. So it was really nice. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. You had anything you wanted to close it off with?
I guess just a quick question. What's your favorite holiday movie that you watch every year?
Well,
Well,
that's an over.
what's a Christmas movie you watch every? You make sure that this is
Wait,
one that I'm gonna see.
it's a no-brainer, because my favorite actually plays as 2, because Nightmare Before Christmas
Oh yeah.
actually counts as my Halloween movie and my Christmas movie. So I have to watch, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas on Christmas Day, just everything about it. So that would be my go-to, but I always watch that in October. I start watching that in October, which is when I finally get a house and stuff. My whole goal is to make my, Halloween decoration be Jack, and then while it's like the closer it starts getting to Christmas, just start putting little Christmas things like around Jack,
Yeah, and then turn it
and
and
then have
transition it.
him
Oh,
into,
that's nice. I
transition
like
it.
that.
So that's my goal when I like get a house and stuff like that, because that's what I want to. I think it would be amazing, just, and and it's easier to keep up. I don't have to take anything down. I would just be adding. So, and then just do the big takedown once I'm done. So yeah, that would be my favorite. What about
Yeah.
you?
Mine, I'm a Home Alone kid. It just
Me too.
cracks
Me
me
too.
up every
Home
time,
Alone
dude.
2 is a classic,
Oh,
which is what, like, what's funny, because I don't know what we'll um we should do a special like Halloween movies that we love. But I find it funny that Home Alone, do you like Home Alone 1 or 2 more?
see, that's rough. I think one.
Okay. Okay. Well, I love 2, because 2 is my favorite. I
Yeah.
think 2 is the better, like, I think the jokes are just funnier, and I don't know. I
I'm
love
gonna
2,
be
but I
watching
love
two
1
because
also.
last year we watched one. Bree's never
Mhm.
seen them, so last year
Oh,
we watched one and we didn't get a
yeah.
chance to watch two. So I'm like, this year we're watching two.
Yeah.
So yeah,
2
but they're
2 I
definitely,
love.
yeah, they're so good.
But two's Rotten Tomato score is so bad. Like,
Is it really?
they made it seem like it's one of the worst movies, and I'm like, Home Alone 2, like, I get it if you prefer Home Alone 1, but Home Alone 2 wasn't bad. Like, it was more of the same. And I remember looking at it, cuz I saw this thing where it's just like Rotten Tomato scores that should like be like redone, and it has a 35% for Home Alone 2. And that doesn't
Jeez. Oh
seem
yeah, I
right to
see it.
me.
Yeah, no.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny. So I was just curious to see how many people didn't like Home Alone 2, because I always loved it. So
Yeah, I also
yeah.
got introduced real quick. The reason why I'm asking this is one, to add to the viewers' Christmas viewing list. Like, oh yeah, I should probably get back on these. Um, there's a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he has to get a toy.
Yes. Gosh. Oh
I saw
man, I
that for the
know.
first time last year. I was like,
So
this is
good.
good. I really.
Gosh, what is the name of that
uh,
movie? I know what you're talking about.
and it
It's
has
so good.
wait, Arnold
It has
Schwarzenegger.
Danny DeVito in it, right? No, no,
No, it
that's
has
twin. I know what you're talking about. Hold on. I know
Jingle All
exactly
the
what
Way.
movie
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, is this the
Yeah.
right one?
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
it
because
is.
that's
It's
Sinbad in it.
Jing
Sinbad is
all
in
the yes.
it.
Yes, it's 100% that, where he's trying to get the toy,
And that
and
got a 19%
you
on
see
Rotten
what I'm
Tomatoes.
saying? There's some movies where like that's a great
They're just
movie.
hating on people.
Like, yeah, that's just a funny movie.
Oh
I
my
mean, even
god.
what you call it is in there, like The Big Show. Like, That
Yeah.
cast was hilarious. But yeah, it's a good one. That's definitely a good one where they have to get the toy and they're standing in line and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
whole fights happen. It's so funny. It's so good. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. But yeah, we should definitely we'll think about we'll plan something out and do like you know,
Well, this one, I definitely
holiday
want to see that
special movie.
fighting Santa movie that's coming out. It's
Oh
an
yeah,
action
yeah.
pack one. We should do a review on that one. But anyway,
I'm down. I'm
yeah.
down. I think it comes out soon. I'll let you know
Hmm.
when I go watch it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us, guys. Thank you for joining us. As always, we appreciate it every time. We're gonna be if you guys haven't listened, Andor's out also. I dropped it, so go ahead and check those out and everything else that we dropped. So be sure to check them out. Be sure to check out Chris's stuff on his channel, Code Fever.
Yeah, thank
Right?
you. Yeah, I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing gameplay. I started doing a VR recording, so I'm playing the last Clockwinder, and that came out the first episode came out today. Um,
Nice.
as we drop this, it'll be out on my channel. So yeah,
Yeah, so go check that out too. And yeah, and just remember, go ahead and write Yendi that he a shame gif or something like that, just cause, just cause it's fun. But until next time, Fire Team out.